Hey everyone, Jared James here, and welcome to this episode of Today with Jared James. I believe episode 88. Your favorite?
My lucky number.
Why is that your lucky number?
Well,
not 87, not 89. You're a big Eric Lindros fan?
So I really don't know why it is. I remember my third grade teacher,
was 88 years old?
Butler. No.
She had a butler.
She said, okay, tomorrow we're going to be doing art. So we're going to whatever your favorite number is, come up, bring that number to school, and we're going to draw and be creative with that number. And I didn't have a number.
So you said tomorrow's March 88th.
No, I said, I just need a number. And so I went into my third grade class, got there, and 88 was the number I came up with.
Okay.
Thank you. And actually, I see it quite a bit. Like, it never has brought me luck, but... That's my number. Anyways, how do you come up with the lucky number anyways?
Everybody's lucky number is like 7 or something.
Everybody.
As I said, 88. There are less than 88 people on this planet whose lucky number is 88. On this planet.
My odds are a lot better.
You said it hasn't worked. Anyway,
welcome.
I am here with Miss Linda Yacoub. Thanks for that intro. And as usual, we want to say producing the show. Sure. Tom, sure. Don't sound so confident.
I mean, he does everything. He produces your podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Really, this podcast should have started sooner. Linda was literally, you smeared your makeup, by the way.
Okay.
No, but you were crying. You actually were crying.
Oh, we were having a blast.
Yeah. Well, what was that about? Why were you crying?
We were just having a good time. I was naturally just talking.
Yeah, but then I said something, you started crying.
I simply asked, who's doing this PPC?
No.
Is that what it's called?
No, that's not what you were crying about. You were crying.
Why was I crying?
About my pimple.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tom,
thank you for trying to cover me.
So
So I said to you, because you just got over a breakout, let's be honest. Not break up, but break out.
I had one pimple.
You had a pimple that grew a face. The pimple was the star. Okay. The face was a sideshow. Okay. And now
this is how he treats me.
People. Yeah. Well, I joke about it. And the next thing you know, I'm like a 15-year-old boy. I got like a set of 3 that show up over here. And I say to you, of course, I got to have these pimples that come in here.
And I'm just trying to be a very nice girlfriend. I'm like, oh, we should put makeup on it.
And I said, I already did. You're like, oh, that's post. Oh God. Yeah. So
we just have to deal with it.
Anyway, whatever planet you visited last week, apparently I have now voyaged to that planet right here. So anyway, welcome back to the show. We have so much to talk about. Last time you were on, my God, we were talking about, do you buy, do you not buy, do you rent, do you this, do you that? I was getting ready to go on trips and go do a bunch of events. And
do people know that we're a couple?
Have we said that?
I mean,
yes, I think so.
I'm sure you get first-time listeners, right?
Well, 1 and 1 is a couple, isn't it? Oh, do you mean like wait, are you asking me out? What's happening right now? Is this?
You make things
here?
So awkward so quickly.
Here? Yeah. I think
we should give a little
It's a good point.
There we go, everyone. We're a couple. And so yeah, because I don't know, you're gonna get first-time listeners that have no idea. Linda Yacoub and Jared James.
Yeah. So we are.
Okay, cool. So now last time I was on the podcast, we talked about it was actually before Mexico. Before I even listed my home. Yeah. Yes, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Was that long?
Yeah, she hasn't been.
That was back in January.
Wow. Okay.
Shoot, that was when you were in Fresno because he did it in my studio, my podcast studio.
Oh, that's right. With that amazing video quality that we got from Zoom on that laptop. Yeah. Everybody can see that episode on YouTube. Amazing.
I'm excited talking about my podcast studio. You're like, oh yeah, the crappy video that we got from there. Thanks for that.
The sound was fantastic. We just weren't sure whether to do video or not because there's not a camera, like there's not a whatever. Yeah. So we're like, oh, just open up the computer. We'll just do Zoom. And by the way, I don't regret it. Because for anybody who watches that, okay, it's not the greatest video quality, but it is what it is. Who cares? Like, it's not perfection, right?
So that last video, we talked a lot about my potential of like moving. Am I going to move?
Should
Am I
you
going to
move?
list? Am I
Should you
going to rent?
not? Should you buy? Should you rent? Like at the time I was leaning towards you renting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot to discuss because we have a lot to talk about with that. We have well, look, we have business and personal to talk about, right? So there's that happened. There is a company picnic coming up. That was another thing that had just come up, to where you asked Tom, you
put the music back on?
No,
that's a movie now.
No.
Oh, wow. That's
no,
we're watching movies.
Not really sure where that came from, but
are we gonna
feel free to grab the remote and turn it off. It's all
do
good.
a review,
That
like
means-
a live review?
that
Well, what's the movie?
I don't know. We're
Just turn the whole
at the
thing
end.
off. Just turn the whole thing.
That
off.
means Tom, go turn it off.
Yeah. So we have a company picnic coming up, which you're going to come into town for. And you have asked me, and I forgot to say to Tom, you like to plan things. And you're like, well, who's planning it? Which right away I feel like is a shot at Tom, because who else would? I mean, you are the party planning czar, right? Like that's his role.
Is that what do you love, like hosting?
He has a gavel. Is that what it's called? A gavel?
I do have a gavel.
Yeah.
I just like planning things. I don't really like hosting things, but I love planning things.
Really? Are you very A-type? So everything is
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
like structured, everything's laid out. There's a timeline for it. Like,
do you know what I think too? I think Tom likes seeing other people enjoy the fruits of his labor. Yeah. I do think he likes seeing people enjoy the fruits of his labor. But should anybody tread on that labor, he does have a gavel. I mean, he does hit it in the office. Like that absolutely does have. He also does send out emails that are signed Your Holiness. And no, he's not referring to the Pope. He literally refers to himself as Your Holiness.
No, I'm referring to myself, an ordained minister.
Are you an ordained minister?
I am an ordained minister.
The internet is an amazing
No way.
thing. Well, that must be an internet thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
That's clearly an internet.
It is an internet.
Low though. No.
I know a lot of ministers. Okay. It's hey, for $19.99 you can be too. Okay. That's okay.
I'm offended by that. It's actually much more than that.
Well, luckily it is your duty to forgive. So we should be all good.
That's
Okay.
fair.
So parting planning committee.
Well, you want to help with planning the picnic, and you brought it up to me, and I was like, oh, I'll bring it up to Tom, which I didn't. And then you say to Tom beforehand, hey, are you on the committee?
No, did I say that? No, I said, oh, who is planning? Who's a part of this PP?
And I said him, and you said, oh, are you a part of the committee? To anybody in the office would be like smack in the face to Tom.
Is it like a committee of one?
No, there's 3 people in it. It's myself, Andrea, and Lex.
He rejects people.
Well, yeah, because I can't have everybody. Otherwise, we only have 12 people in the office.
Yeah. You can't.
You know, I should be a part of it. This way, it's like a surprise for them, and like they get to really just enjoy all of it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, she wants to help.
I do want to help.
Okay. So
all the way across the country.
Great.
So I'm really good at it.
We need food for the picnic. So
okay. Yeah, I got the food.
Now he's just using you.
Is he?
Yeah. That's it. Come on. Seriously. No, we are trying to figure that part out. But anyway, so we have that going on. Let's talk something that might be really interesting to our listeners, our viewers, however this goes. A lot of changes happening right now.
In the industry?
Yeah, some of which are frustrating the crap out of me, if I'm being completely honest. As of May 1st, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but big mortgage changes coming. We are now going to penalize people who pay their bills.
May 1st, like this year, like as of next week, Monday.
So as of May 1st, it's so funny because someone posted this I think it was Shane Anderson posted this in our group, and he's like, have you guys seen this? Like, what is this? And it's basically new rules that state if your credit score is above 680 or you're putting 15 to 20% down, you're now going to get penalized, and they're going to take that money and bring it to other people that they think need it more. And it's the idea, like, it's so funny because I have a lot of thoughts on this. Like, first off, when he posted it in there, I said, yeah, I saw this a couple weeks ago. I assumed it was a joke. I didn't think it was serious. And I talked to you personally, like to me, it's just like personally offensive. Yeah. It's just like enough already. Like,
he was heated. Like,
hey, you paid your bills your whole life. Yeah. Hey, you have a good credit score. Hey, you saved up money.
You've been responsible.
Penalty. Like, what? And like, it's very easy to look at the other side and go, hey, you don't have a great credit score. Hey, you don't have a, whatever. And now they're going to give them a break. They're giving them a discount. And it's very easy to look at that and go, well, because you always think about that person who's trying and is struggling and is, because that exists. What were you going to say?
No. So first finish like what they passed, and let's talk about both sides, because we did talk about this in the car, and I could relate.
And I have empathy. I do.
So talk about what passed.
My empathy personally is different than policy.
Correct.
Like that's a different thing.
Yeah.
The idea that, look, you got to remember, I was raised poor. We had food stamps. We had the whole, like, I completely like get it, but there's a place where, you give so much that it's a helping hand and you help people move up. But then I talked to you about in the cars, there's a thing called the law of diminishing returns, meaning there's, just because spending $10 helps 100 people, it doesn't mean spending $100 helps 1,000 people, because at some level you run out of people who want to get helped. And now what you do is just enable people, and you just basically say, hey, don't make more than this or you're not going to get anything. Hey, don't get a job, you're not going to get anything. Hey, don't get don't pay your bills, your credit score is going to go too high and you're going to get penalized. And so I really come from the perspective, me, like this to me is not like everybody with everything in today's world makes everything political. Okay, and it's like, some things are just common sense. Like the idea that someone works hard, pays their bills, saves money, penalty is just like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, this is really what we've come to. Okay. And then on the flip side, what's that?
Be clear, but I think I cut you off with a policy. You never actually.
Okay, so 680 and above credit score is going to pay a penalty. It depends on the size of the loan, but generally around 1 to 1.5%. And so what's going to happen is if you have it sounds so minute, right? But if you have a $350,000 loan, right, it's going to cost you $2,600 at the closing, another $40 a month, on your, but it's just another 40, it's like just adds up. Whereas if you have a 679 or below credit score, a lower down payment, whatever, you're going to get up to a 1.75% discount. And the idea is, and it sounds great on its merit, is that, in fact, it actually said something. There was an article that was written about this, and they said, let me see if I can find it here. Well, that's a whole other thing. But basically they said that they're trying to help people who have been, the word wasn't disenfranchised, but it was, what was the word they used? I read it to you earlier. It was that idea. It was like disenfranchisement or like things, disadvantaged. They weren't, like things weren't available to them. And the funny thing, there's plenty of people in that situation. There's no doubt about it. But overall, your credit score is at a certain point because you didn't pay your bills. Like, that's what happens. And I get there are a lot of reasons for that. And I have empathy for those because I've been there and I've grown up there like 100%. What personally offends me is that we now blanket wise take from people who more often than not did struggle and pay their bills and were responsible and saved money and went
and penalize them.
And we go penalty and we give it to people who in every single case are not the example of somebody who just had it tough or had whatever. Some of them just don't pay their bills. And so the whole blanket thing just offends me. What's the point of a credit score, which is supposed to equal credibility, if at the end of the day, you're then giving money to people saying, no, it's not that you're not credible. It's just that you've been disenfranchised. And it's like, no, they just didn't pay their UI. They didn't pay their electric. Like, what do you mean? Like that's, and yes, we struggle. Yes, but there's supposed to be penalty for that. That's the whole point of when you go for a car, a rate is determined based on your credit score. A loan is based on your credit score. Whether they'll allow you to get this card is based on the odds that you're going to pay back based on your history. That's what a credit score is. It's historical data. And so it's no different than 2008 when we went and took people with 520 credit scores and said, no doc loans, we'll give you whatever you want. Yeah. And then we were shocked when they all defaulted. It was like, hey, you've never paid your bill in your life, but here's a home. Let's see how you do with this. Yeah. And so that principle to me, like when we start talking about doing stuff like this, penalizing people who have paid and have saved and giving incentives to people who haven't, which by the way, there's already incentives. There's already first-time homebuyer programs. There's already home buyer assistance programs. There's already that are specifically for people who have done their best, have done whatever, but need a helping hand, but we don't penalize the people who have been responsible in order to take care of
So
them.
I think
that's what bothers
so
me.
your argument is more on penalizing versus
How do you penalize someone for being responsible?
it's not the other side. It's more penalizing. Don't penalize. If you
It's the
want to do this, it's
redistribution.
fine. Just don't penalize
It's
us
the
because we're-
redistribution. It's the idea that I'm supposed to tell my children, I'm supposed to raise them responsibly.
Mhm.
I'm supposed to tell them to say no to all the designer clothes and all of the vacations they don't need. And I'm supposed to tell them, don't spend more than you can afford. And I'm supposed to say, hey, you be a responsible adult. You're good for society. Pay your bills, have a high credibility score, save your money, have a bigger down payment so you can avoid PMIs. What's the point of avoiding PMI if you're just going to pay a penalty that's going to get thrown? So what are we doing? Think about that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
one penalty for the
if
next.
the policy was in place minus the penalty, it wouldn't be as much heartburn to you.
It's the idea, not that we are helping other people. It's the idea that you're penalizing those in order to help them.
Correct. Yeah.
That to me is
okay.
And by the way, I'm coming from personal experience where, like, again, grew up poor, lived in a trailer, lived at like the whole thing moved all over, like the whole thing. What was the point of me working so hard and being so responsible and paying my bills and saving money and doing just to go, well, now you're going to get penalized. It's like, and by the way, and what's going to be the message to people now? Here's the new message from realtors and mortgage brokers to people when they're ready to go buy a house and they're 3 months out. Stop paying your car because your credit score is 699 right now. We need to get you down to 679 or less. So I need you to default on a loan. I need you to do something. That if you think that's not going to happen, it's absolutely going to happen.
I do get what you're saying as far as like penalizing the ones that have been like responsible and keeping up on payments, all that. Yeah. However, our conversation in the car was, you know, I've had an amazing credit score for so long, but going through the divorce,
correct,
and co-signing on so many things has affected
you had
my
no control
credit
over.
That I had no control over. So I couldn't even qualify. I could not even qualify to live in an apartment, period. Because my credit was so low.
Right.
It was high fives, maybe, if that. I don't know. It's very low.
Work to get it up and
I was, you know, fortunate enough to get my credit back up, and I had to fight the, you know, credit bureaus, each one of them, and it was
no fault of yours. Yeah.
Correct. But I could see, and I'm never like, although the argument could be, well, you co-signed, so you did miss payments. Like you could make an argument that you're still responsible. I am responsible, although I'm not the authorized user of the card. I'm responsible for it. Yep. But looking at my purchase credit history on its own would say otherwise. So like we had an argument, not an argument. We had a discussion in the car saying, wait, but that helped me like I wouldn't be able to get a home.
Right.
Like seriously. And so
correct.
Yes,
not necessarily, because just like you co-signed, someone else could co-sign for you.
Correct.
But anyway,
but I wouldn't want that. But like I could sympathize in the fact that we shouldn't be punished for those that have.
You don't make laws. You don't make laws for exceptions.
But I could also, on the other side, be like, well, I was in that situation.
Yeah.
And I could see how it benefited me.
Correct.
In that season of life.
I benefited from so many things. Like, no doubt. Again, it's the difference between wanting a helping hand up and wanting someone to just take care of you. And my overall philosophy is you don't make laws for exceptions. Meaning, just because you can point to 1 or 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 and go, but look, it helped them. Well, if 9 out of 10 or 19 out of 20 are still abusing it, it's not a good policy.
Yeah.
And so, again, all for help people find ways. That's what FHA is. That's what homebuyers, that's what all those things are.
Sometimes we get caught up on this whole, I'm not sure if I should say this,
oh boy.
The whole like supporting, you know, home ownership, and we're doing whatever we need to do to get home ownership.
Right.
Like versus, and
at the end of the day,
actually be one of those. Like we want obviously want everyone to be right. I mean, that's the American dream, right? Part of the American dream is owning a home.
Right. But just like some people shouldn't be parents, some people shouldn't be homeowners. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just,
I'm not saying that for the record.
it's just the truth though. Like,
I get that.
Some things it's like, hey, the American dream, the whatever. It's awesome being a father. I think everybody should want this. I know plenty of people who should not have children.
Oh,
You're not responsible enough for yourself. Now you're going to bring kids in.
Yeah. This is actually a good, we don't have to pivot just yet, but I specifically said that as far as like, oh, I would never be a realtor.
Yeah.
And, and it's one of the, and I had my reasons to why.
Yeah.
And not everyone should be in real estate.
Correct.
It should be a realtor.
Correct. When you explained your reasons why, you're like, yeah, that doesn't really fit you.
No, doesn't fit who I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
Realtors are a different
I
breed.
love the real estate space. So it doesn't mean that
they're a lot of your friends.
Yeah.
They're your whatever. I mean, obviously
But
with
that
my
is
world, whatever, but I joke around at events all the time. Realtors are a different breed. They're built different,
I just don't have patience.
Yeah.
To be
The patience, and it's the motor, the constant the constant, it takes a toll on your life. It takes a toll on the people around you. And yet for so many of them, they don't know any other way. It's their oxygen.
Yeah.
It's, it's like, it's forget about the chaos, it literally is what they enjoy. It's like so many people desire to just be quiet and have a quiet place. And, I just want to go to an island somewhere with someone who barely speaks my language and offers me another cocktail while I read chapter 7, of my book with, what's his name, with the long blonde hair on the front. What was his name? The guy in the back in the day, who was the guy who was like the love novel guy? Who was it?
Kenny G?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Not Kenny G. Fabio, with Fabio on the front and whatever. And yet the truth of the matter is that a lot of people, especially people who operate in real estate, as much as they will fight it and they'll act like they don't like it and they'll tell people like, I need to fix this, I need to find balance, like that's a real thing and everything else. The truth is that they exist within that chaos, and it's their oxygen. It's what keeps them going, right? And so it's not for everybody. Yeah. It's not for everybody. But either way, I'm
sorry to take
changes are coming. Is what I'm saying. Changes are coming, and I don't love it. I think there's going to be a lot of, look, they can't do it legally, but there's going to be a lot of behind the scenes people saying, don't pay that bill. You know what I mean? Like, let's get you under, let's get you, whatever. And by the way, if we can talk about it,
what?
When we talk about things that help people and things that aren't, let's penalize this person in order to get to, let's penalize them for being responsible, which even as I say it out loud, I can't believe that's something that can happen in our, like that it's a normal and everybody's just like, oh, okay, well, that's what we're doing now. Like that sickens me that's okay. And again, it just goes back to my kids. I'm like, I'm supposed to tell them, be responsible, be whatever, but really you're going to do better if you don't. You benefited, right? So like when we talked last time about should you buy, should you rent, I was making the argument to you at the moment that you should probably sell your house, rent, and then we use the funds to go buy something else. So like maybe not your primary, but every situation's different. But we ended up looking at it and saying, let's buy, because you benefited from, you ended up using FHA.
Correct. But also I bought a new build. So there was a builder incentive too.
Yep. A huge builder incentive.
Really just helped me with down payment and like buying down rates. And so after doing all the crunching of numbers and everything, that was the route to go. But that was the most exhausting. It was 30 days.
Which is short.
It was exhausting. It was emotional. Like it was frustrating.
Yeah.
It was everything. Like for Jared, I would constantly say, I don't ever want to buy yourself.
Oh, you were ready. You were ready several times to just back out, just say, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. How many times did I get involved and say, hey, a real estate transaction is no place for emotion. Mm-hmm. Like, stop it. Like, let's look at this. Let's space view this for a second. Okay. We don't like where this is happening right here compared to yesterday, but from where we started and where we want to be, we're in a good place right now.
Yeah.
You got a quality buyer who's being insane and but we have a quality buyer. How do we, I'm take emotion out.
It was so interesting. I'm not even sure if you know much about the transaction at all, but like we listed my house. I'm really good with dates and timeline.
You don't need it.
We listed my house. The next day I flew out to Mexico. I was only there for 48 hours in Mexico to meet.
Is that all you were there?
Yeah. To meet with you, with the family and the friends, our friends. The property, I got an offer within 24 hours. They gave us 24 hours to respond to their offer. And I mean, it sounded really good. It was over asking by how much?
10 grand,
10 grand.
$10,001.
They wanted a quick close. And then they're like, oh, we want all your furniture too.
They were like, we just want it. Like, we want to buy all your furniture. It looks gorgeous. It looks whatever. Not like to have it for free. They were like, we want to buy it.
They were putting 20% down.
Thank God they did back then, because now.
So we're here in Mexico laying out, drinking our cocktails. Like, oh gosh, like, what do we do?
I drink water all day. I'll have you know, my mother listens to this podcast. Okay. Water and pineapple juice. Okay.
And we say, you know, I say, sure, we'll accept the offer. I have learned so much from like,
I love how you're just like, so I was like, yeah, sure, we're going to accept the offer.
It was not like that.
Okay, nothing is like that. Okay, but anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, you know what happened after we accepted? They immediately order an appraisal.
Which they didn't need.
They didn't need.
They didn't need an appraisal for the sale. But anyway, yeah.
They're well overqualified buyers.
Got an appraiser who traditionally is going to come in low.
And a friend appraised the house.
Mm-hmm.
Came in 20 grand lower than list price?
Less than that.
A little less than that?
Came 23 grand less.
23 grand less.
Who's counting?
And
on a property that had so many offers, got that offer. They gave that offer because they knew it was going to get other offers. Like, they're like, just get it off the market.
And they went, this appraisal that they got was through a friend, not through the lender. They just picked a random appraisal.
It was such nonsense.
And then we kind of countered back with like
well, they came back with an absurd. They were like, we want it at this price. And we're like, toodles, we're going to go back on the market. Have a good one.
How smart is this? And obviously the realtor was very well in the know of what was going on. But I was telling Jared, as a seller, we're like, ooh, that's very attractive. Over asking. I want the furniture, 30-day close, 20%. That probably wasn't in the best interest of me though, because then what happened is it took it off the market. And I was not able to get it through a weekend. There was no open houses. But
it ended up being in your best interest. I was gonna say it still was.
No, but at the moment though, there was a moment that I literally said, hey, if you're not moving forward, it is going back on the market tomorrow, Friday, and we're doing open houses.
Oh, we scheduled. We're scheduling open houses.
Scheduled to go.
Well, first off, we're skipping a lot of details here.
No.
But again, my job was to be the voice of reason. Okay. I am in between Palestine and Israel right now, and they are trying to have peace negotiations.
Why does it have to be my people?
Wait, those aren't your
people.
Those aren't your people. Yeah, I was gonna say, those aren't your people, are they? No. Your family's from Iraq. But I'm like, wait a second, Palestine, is this a new thing for me? Are you? No, but it was like, like how tense that would be, like how it's just, they're not coming to it, whatever. And my job was to kind of be like the voice of reason and just kind of, hey, I know what we need to do here.
Qualified. Let's move.
And to your credit too, many times too, you would just get annoyed. You'd be like, well, just whatever. Just what do you want to do? Just what do you want? Whatever. And so when that all started happening, we were going back and forth, and there were some things we were willing to do, some things we weren't willing to do. But we did hit a place where they had invested enough money, they had done enough whatever, that when they started trying to get tough at the end, you and I both knew.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I'm like, they're not packing out. Like, they're staying.
They did.
This is the line.
They did put a lot of money into it. They had an appraisal. I don't know if they ordered 2 appraisals or just 1, but they had multiple home inspections. They had a bid come out. So all these people coming out. So they've invested in the property already. And then
they were asking for things that were just upgrades to the property. We want a new drainage system. What? There's no drainage system needed. Like, it's $6,500 or something. We want you to pay for that. Just nonsensical stuff, to where we got to a point where I felt, and you felt as well, that like, okay, they're staying now. And so we just drew the line, and the price that we ended up getting, I won't say the exact price, but can I say like where it was compared to asking?
Oh yeah. That's
okay.
fine.
So it ended up all in being $1,000 less than you're asking, with a quality buyer, with a quick close, which allowed you to close on the new construction that you were going into.
Yeah.
And so we just drew a line and we said, hey, you know what? We're kind of done with this. Take it or leave it. We're scheduling open houses this weekend. And
it was just stressful because my home purchase was contingent on mine selling. And
it was all going to fall apart if it fell apart.
Very, very last minute. Not only the buyers, but the agent too, the buyer's agent. they would wait almost up until the hour.
They wanted a response immediately
So
every
it
time
was-
from you, but then whenever they had a
Uh-huh.
deadline, they would wait till like the second and just be like, okay, yes, or okay,
It's
no.
like everything in me, because my background, I used to run the MLS, and so I know the agent, buyer's agent. So
Yeah.
everything in me not to be like texting this buyer's agent, like what the
What's the
heck?
deal?
Like
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, and nor did maybe they probably would have seen my name and recognized my name, but like
Would they have
it was-
recognized, would they have recognized Yacoub?
no, but it's not underneath my maiden name.
Oh, gotcha.
But like still it was very frustrating because I know the person, I know the broker, I have the situation, and this is my first time ever selling. I've bought a home but never sold one. So super stressful. And then honestly, being a single mom running a company,
Yeah.
Jared across the country, like on top of everything else, like
Half the time, not even across the
very-
country. Jared over here, over there, in another country, doing,
it
you
was
know,
a lot
yeah.
of like emotion. I don't ever like if I ever purchase another home,
Well, you already told me.
Which-
You're like, baby, you handle everything.
you're handling all of
Well,
it.
you told me that from the beginning, though. You were like, look, finances, this, that. You're like, it's not what I do. You just handle everything.
Yeah.
Which
So-
I like doing that stuff. So we're
Yeah.
good.
Anyways, super stressful. Glad it was over.
Your agent probably thought, like, because we're not married. We established at the beginning here that we are together, and literally every message, everything from your agent, you're like, put Jared on it. Put Jared on it.
She was
You didn't put Jared on this. Can you
My
please go
agent
forward?
honestly was-
Can you go to the point she just started
great.
calling me? Yeah, she's texting me, hey, what's going on? Hey, whatever. And it was just like and again, credit to you. You were kind of at a place of like trust where you want to know what's going on. It's your decision, you're whatever. But you were kind of like, I thought you were very good about, especially when you would feel emotionally tied to it. Where if I said, hey, this is the way to go, this is what you're like, okay. Like you,
I totally
to me, that
entrusted.
was very
Yeah.
impressive to me that even in that emotional time, you still were just kind of like,
Mhm.
okay.
So it was very stressful throughout the transaction, but what's crazy, and you asked this at the whole entire time, and even my realtor asked, like, how are you feeling about leaving the house? I had no emotional attachment to the home.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I had zero. And maybe it's because of all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe. But like it was really refreshing actually to close a door.
I think
Like,
you wanted to
literally
move
close the
on
door
though. I
and
think
move
you were
on,
like,
too.
I think for
Like
you,
that
it wasn't
chapter.
like, it was like the most amazing experience, whatever. I think you were just kind of like, I'm ready to close this chapter.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot of like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was, I'm so glad. I don't have to think at least 3 to 4 years.
I thought it would.
Like,
Yeah. We keep talking about that. Yeah. But yeah, it's,
actually did a poll on my social and I asked what was more stressful.
yeah.
I asked,
You have a lot of realtors that follow you.
I have a ton of realtors that follow me, and I let everyone know that I am going through a selling and a buying process right now. What is more stressful?
Yeah.
And a lot of people said the selling process was more stressful than the buying.
Yeah.
And it could be, and maybe not. It could be dependent on the type of market you're in too, because it really, properties were kind of hanging on the market for a bit in
Yeah.
my area.
Yeah.
They weren't like flying like hotcakes or anything. And
Well,
so
I think there's a big
so
thing to
it's
do with
there's a
also.
lot of buyer incentives right now.
Yeah, but when you sell, the problem, when you buy, you're just where you are and you're just waiting for a chance to move to a new place. When you sell, it's not just the sale. You're inevitably going into a buy and you're like, will I have
Yeah.
another house?
Yeah, that's
Will I
true.
find a place I'm comfortable
Correct.
in? Is this person going to now back out and now my property is going to go on the market, and instead of being fresh and new in the the coolest thing around, now it's 43 days on the market and now I'm going to get low balls.
I know.
Is it going, like, there's all these things that start going through your head that are absolutely stressful. So there's no doubt that both sides of the process are stressful. Look, third most stressful time in life, a death, divorce, and moving, right? But there's just more that comes with being a seller,
Yeah.
and there's more emotional attachment. So when you're buying a place, you're hoping to create an emotional attachment. You're
Mhm.
hoping that this house becomes a home. When you're moving, you have your kids' height lines on the walls. You have good or bad memories. You have that romanticism that comes with that. You have
Yeah.
all of that connected to it that a buyer's only hoping to create.
Correct.
Seller already has it.
Mhm.
So when you mix all of that up there, it's like, I say to agents all the time when I'm at events, I've said it twice. When I say I've said it all the time, but I've said it twice, I think. But I'll say to agents, and I'll say, hey, haven't you ever dealt with like a crazy client, crazy? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, don't worry, they're not here. Like, you can admit it. And people be like, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, well, think about it. Third most stressful time in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we say death, divorce, and moving, you and I in the last couple of years went through divorces. People are not themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
The stress level is at a certain point, the anger, the emotion, the whatever. People can get crazy. Like it's not normal, right? So when you talk about going through a moving process, agents are dealing with on a regular basis people who chemically are not themselves. You are not seeing the best version of that person, right? You're seeing the stressed out, worried, anxious filled, whatever. You're not getting the best version.
And this is why I cannot ever be a realtor.
And that was one of the reasons why you were saying that. Yeah.
I can never do it. Like the patience that my realtor had with the buyer's agent. And the thing is, you do business with them quite often. Like you might do another transaction a couple weeks from now. And so and she was so frustrated also that, I can't handle it. The fact that I can't, as an agent, that dual agency, right? I would love to control both sides. That's
what you said when we were talking about. You're like, if I control both, great.
The fact that I can't control their, whether it's temperament, timeline, whatever the case may be,
what they're going to ask for, whether they're going to be realistic, whether they're going to
I'm an A to Z person. You figure out everything in between and let me know when you get there. Yeah. That's it. That's why you're CEO. That's why you're boss babe. I'm saying that over and over again, to you. Yeah. I will never. I don't know how people do it. And that's when you said that's why it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And
it's so funny. It's so funny you say that because I also, in many levels, I'm such a weird chameleon in this way. I, on many levels, can be very high level. Tom will tell you, when it comes to the team and stuff, I'm like, go whatever. I got veto power, but do your thing. Go do your thing, right? And then you'll see me in my personal life in some areas be very detailed, very, it's like a very different thing. And when it comes to that process with you, I almost have to, once I start taking everything over and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take everything over. We're going to do negotiations. We're going to figure out how this is going to happen, logistics of how this is going to work. I almost have to teletransport myself in my head into a different body, into a different person.
Yeah.
Because I will go through my normal day and just be higher level. We got this, check in. What's happening? What's going on here? Or traveling around. I can't even think about it. You guys handle it. You guys do whatever. And then when it came to your situation, I would almost have to, once I realized I was in that situation, you and I would talk or something would come up, I would have to almost get in a different state of mind where you have to go from CEO mode and go, okay, worker bee. I need to be in the weeds on this. What's happening? And that was because I cared about you. And I was like, I want to make sure this is handled correctly. I want to make sure she's not taken advantage of. I want to make sure, all of those things. Right. So it's very weird how it's a different role. But you're definitely not. Yeah. You're not that
full. I do have to say, although my experience on this transaction was could have been better. My experience with my realtor was amazing.
Yeah. No, she was on the ball.
Over communicated. She told me exactly what I needed to, what next steps look like. She even gave me numbers to my solar company.
She had a transaction coordinator.
Everything done. Everything.
Thirdandclose.com. Make sure you get a transaction coordinator.
Transaction coordinator was wonderful. She even came over my house and was cleaning windows for me, all of my outdoor windows, indoor. Now maybe she doesn't do it for everyone. She is a girlfriend of mine, but she went far and beyond.
Full disclosure, though.
What?
She is your cleaning lady too. It's her side hustle.
No. Sorry, Bree, if you're listening. No, but
she's
phenomenal. And it didn't have anything to do with the broker she worked for. It really just is. That's just who she is. And so you're so bad.
Look at it, Tom.
You guys could all see Tom.
Oh my God. Tom.
Anyways, I moved into a new build, super temporary. She
doesn't love it.
And I'm like, oh, I hate this.
You would think new, but they just put everything so cheap. And then in an effort to be
build, first of all, it's a new build in an HOA community.
What's it called? Well, not economic. What's it called where you're saving lights and stuff? What's it called?
Efficiency.
Yeah. In an effort to be so efficient with lights, the lights just don't turn on for long.
Oh my gosh.
So basically you have no light. So you don't even control the lights. You walk in and they flip on. Boom. They're all off or whatever. So then you're in the middle of using the bathroom, you're in the middle of showering, click, they're off. You're in the dark. But they're efficient.
My poor daughter, she's 7 years old. She, you sit on the pot. She sits on the pot and she can't touch the floor. Like she's so tiny. And because you're sitting on the pot,
You don't
the
control the
sensors
lights.
turn off. And so she's like, she's like this. And there's like nothing's going on. She's so small that it's not even
It's
detecting
so
her.
frustrating. She was complaining to me
Poor
about
girl.
it. You were complaining to me about it on FaceTime. And then I was there and I was just like, oh, I can't take this. I want to turn the light on. And look, I love the idea. You know how annoyed I get with people when they don't turn lights off when they leave rooms. You know how that's annoying to me. You know how like
I first liked it because I always forget.
I'm like little Hitler with my kids when it comes to the lights. Like I'm just like, guys, is somebody in that room? Is there another one of you? Somebody's still there? Whatever, because they just never turn them off. And I'm like, well, this is great, baby. Now they're going to turn off automatically.
Yeah, and then when
they turn off while you're still there. That's how they're so efficient. They're like, look, you only used 10% of the light you did before these were. Yeah, because the house is dark all the time. Like it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's a lot of things, but when they're building quickly and in masses and they're buying
the toilet seats slam down. We got to put nice.
Now I feel great about my new purchase.
Why? It's nice and clean. And in a few years, when you come to us as a potential renter, it's an amazing place. It's worth top dollar. Okay. Let's be very clear. But yeah, so anyway, so you got to buy, and the idea of buying was that, hey, we could do FHA. You could use you had enough money to just go do FHA, whatever. But then that allowed us to take the proceeds from the sale of your house and to, not only, look at our future together, but also like, look at potentially buying investment places and doing whatever. And so you were able to take that money while also still buying and not having to use all of it towards that purchase.
Yeah.
Plus you didn't want to put 20% down because you would get penalized.
Please stop looking at my hair.
How could everybody says I look at their hair. Are you saying because of
Yeah, but I really honestly I feel like something's wrong.
Why are you so conscious about your hair right now? What's going on?
Because
your hair's beautiful. What do you mean? What'd you say about?
He's like this.
That everybody says that I do that.
That is true. That is true.
You know what I feel? You know what I feel? I feel like this conversation is offensive towards those without hair.
Okay, I'm gonna start looking at your
I can't believe that you would even say that. You're lucky to have hair. Okay.
Tom said that you do that. So it's a bad habit. You need to stop it.
Tom says that. Well, I do that.
Why?
I don't know. I always look at people's hair.
What if I did this all the time?
Fine by me.
I don't notice it when you talk to me, but I notice it when you talk to like other people. You'll just be like,
I do. I look at the hair. I look at everything, right? I don't even realize I'm doing it, but I know I do it.
Yeah.
I think I'm checking it all out. And it's like, and then I'll find some kind of intricacy in the hair. And then I get into this, I get into this maze of like, oh, I went there. And now look at that. That one's different. And then this one's this.
I probably have a whole bunch of grays.
Get little white there. You know,
I need to get my hair done. I did cut my hair. I chopped off.
I'm aware.
12 inches.
I'm aware.
12 inches.
I'm aware.
I like it.
I'm aware.
We have weather in California that when it's spring, it's actually light out.
Excuses.
And sun.
Excuses.
We don't get a lot of rain in April, May.
Excuses.
But
your hair looks beautiful. You know my opinion.
He does not like short hair.
I like longer hair. Yeah.
It's not that short.
Oh my God, Tom.
So why we should be on the CPP or CCP together?
PPC.
PPC.
PPC. Party Planning Committee.
Anyway, so what else do we want to chat about?
Well, we got a lot to talk about, but
okay.
Another thing, people, this is kind of a big deal. So you got the house, you got whatever.
Yeah.
It was frustrating for me because I was traveling so much I couldn't even get over there. Like, I was FaceTiming and I was doing whatever, but I wasn't really getting a chance to.
Where were you? You were in Portugal? What was it? Yeah,
when you were closing?
I don't know.
I was all over the place. But I did just go and so you know my kids, like, my kids well, you're on text messages with them. But my kids are older, like they're older and have processed the whole situation. You have
teenagers.
Yeah. They love you. They're good. Like, whatever. And so whatever, but we have been really conscious about not meeting your kids in person yet. So I FaceTime with you. I mean, Ari calls me all the time, sends me text messages, does whatever. But I hadn't met them in person. Ari is her daughter, in case anybody's wondering.
Wait, Grayson is 16, Noah is 14?
Yeah.
And then my son Ty is
both
9.
of my kids are bigger than you.
My son Ty is 9 and my daughter Ari is 7. What?
No,
Tom goes, me too.
No, I'm 5'6".
Yeah, he goes, I said, both of my kids are bigger than you. And Tom goes, me too. Like they're bigger than him.
Yep. So my kids we're definitely in different
Your kids are
seasons in
9 and
life.
7, just turned 7.
Yeah, you're going
And
backwards.
we've just been really just conscious of and just trying to make sure that at the end of the day, it's about them. There's never a perfect time to introduce mommy has a new man, right? There's never a perfect time to do that. But there is a such thing as the right time. I mean, it'd be perfect, but there's a right time.
And it's so hard as a mom. Like I get so torn and I'm emotional about it. I overthink it, but it's because they are so pure and innocent in all of this that they have no idea. Like what's really going on. Like, what does a divorce mean? Like Ari actually asked you, how does your wife look like? Right. So Ari only knows husband and wife.
Right.
But he's like trying to explain, oh, you mean, my ex-wife. And Ari's like, no, like your wife, and so I mean, they don't even understand that. And so I was very sheltering them or protecting.
But we would like hug and whatever, and they'd be like,
protecting
how come
them.
You guys are hugging. How come? And it was just like they're trying to figure it out. Yeah.
I really I care more about them than I care about like myself and anything,
right.
And so, so it's been a year and a half that you haven't met them and you finally got to
met them in person. Like I said, FaceTime, text message. It's not uncommon for me to get, 7 audio messages by text from Ari where she's like, where are you? How come you're not responding?
I actually thought he didn't like kids.
Wow. You're putting this out there. Okay. All right. Game on.
Like,
game
I
on.
don't know how you are.
Game on.
I don't have them, but yeah.
If you don't like them either. Just kidding.
Here's the thing. I've like never been around them too much because I'm the youngest. And
do you have any nieces or nephews?
I have one.
To be clear, he doesn't mean hasn't been around. He means legally can't be within 100 yards.
Nope, untrue. Just the least true.
Okay, so you have one niece.
Yes.
One niece.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like kids?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
One day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta tell the church joke.
Because what?
We got to get back to it, but there's a church joke. But anyway.
Oh, okay. No, because as a mom, and you might not be like this. A lot of women or moms are. You see a baby and you're like, oh, so cute. You just want to grab the baby and just hold it and like all this, a toddler or whatever.
Throw it away.
Jared's like, oh, get me away with it. Jared's literally like, if you're on a plane, anyone traveling and you see Jared and you have a kid, like he's probably he will say like, I want to be as furthest as possible away from that child.
You're not speaking mistruths, but you are speaking in a way that makes me not come off well.
No.
It's
his children.
First off, let's be clear. Yes, I love my children and I love children overall. Okay. Like I have said all along, and you know this, like I'm great with kids.
I'm sure a lot of
little kids love me. Is that not true? Come on.
They do.
Did I not? Why'd you pause?
I'm thinking.
Did I not watch one of your best friends' child?
Yes,
It's just me and him, like whatever, and love it. Like I love kids. I'm great with kids. I don't like little bastards. But I love kids. I love kids. Okay.
Yeah, but God forbid a kid is like whining, or something somewhere.
I paid my dues. I've paid my dues, baby. I raised children.
I'm over here like this. I sympathize with that mom and dad. I was like, ooh, it must be hard.
You know what I did when my kids are like that? I stayed home.
No, he's like, get your kid away. Like, why are they here?
I'm not coming off well right now.
This is exactly why he said, just stay home. You know what he did with his son for 2 years? Stayed home.
Very true. My first son was an angel. He was an angel. I would have 27 of them. He was just conscious of everything, just whatever. My second son came out and he said, some things have got to change. And he just didn't care. And I'm not talking high class establishments. We're at Fridays and he would just throw a fit everywhere we went. And I finally came to the point and I said, look, this isn't everybody else is paying to be here. This is not their responsibility to deal with this. So I said, we will do pickup. We'll do order out until he can learn how to behave in public, and it wasn't, it's just how he was. That's whatever. But yeah, I did. I picked stuff up and I wasn't going to be that guy who sits there and acts like their kid isn't screaming while everybody's trying to have a nice time out. So yes.
So you're going to put your life on pause so you could accommodate a 2-year-old.
So here's the
versus
deal.
like teach them how.
Believe it or not, life went on even without spending nights in Fridays. Okay.
Oh God.
Life was good. But now when it comes to travel, I love kids. But yeah, like when I'm traveling and I'm tired, whatever, if you're asking me would I prefer to have a screaming kid next to me or would I prefer not to? Call me crazy.
I mean, on his flight home from Orlando, Orlando. Kids go to Orlando. Okay. Kids go. Families go.
Yeah.
You had crying kids on the plane and you were
Oh
like,
my
you were
God.
dying.
My
But-
God. They were all around.
Listen, baby. Prepare yourself. You're coming home from freaking Universal Studios, Orlando.
Oh,
That's
no.
families and kids.
I
So
survived.
you should prepare yourself next time versus like, oh my gosh, that was awful.
That
4
was
hours,
rough.
no Wi-Fi.
It
Yada,
didn't
yada,
stop. It was just all just a one
Yeah,
chorus of just they all just like gnashing of teeth. I think the Bible calls it.
All I know, the
That's what I
Bible says,
remember.
I will get extra jewels on my crown in heaven.
You know what? I will give them to you if it means you're all in the designated area where you and the children sit.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the record, everybody, I love children. I feel like I need to look into the camera. Okay.
Anyway, so he met my kids. It was a great time.
Yeah.
It was kind of exhausting. There's a lot. We did a lot.
Well, it's like a different
It was fun,
phase.
though.
It was so, I told you, it was like memory lane because like going to, your son's soccer game and it's 7v7, it's smaller field and they're still learning the skills and they're doing that stuff.
Mhm.
Going to the birthday party at what we would call like a bounce house here, but like you guys call it,
There's a place called Defy, which is
Defy.
like a huge, maybe 30,000 square foot gym facility
Yeah.
that has trampolines and obstacle courses.
Yeah.
I saw a guy once doing like Ninja Warrior stuff
Yeah.
there.
I could see that.
Because it has all the courses. We went to a birthday party there. We went bowling.
Oh, we went
watched a
bowling. We had a
movie.
blast. Come on.
A ton.
Ari warms right up. She's laughing, doing whatever.
Swimming,
Ty and I are having a
yeah.
great time. We're talking and doing whatever. It went fantastic.
He definitely got homesick.
Seeing
I've
them.
never seen him homesick. Like I've seen him homesick, like occasionally on the road.
But generally
you're
I'm
homesick
fine.
because you need your bed.
Yeah.
But he was homesick, like missing his boys. Like
Yeah.
you could hear it, you could see it. He called constantly.
It's
Like,
because I saw them and in them I saw my own kids and I was just like, I want to be near my kids right now. Like it was weird. It kind of, and I told you that, like, I'm like, this is like, it's making me want to, like, I need to be around my kids right now.
Grayson and Noah.
Yeah.
If they ever want anything, they should plan it from on when like his dad's visiting Fresno.
Ugh.
And then just ask dad when you're visiting Fresno.
Well, I could
Most
get
likely
him.
dad will get
I
it.
did get them those bracelets with the nice message about how much dad loves you. And yeah,
Getting all like sentimental and
Mhm.
buying things.
it's very true. It's very true. I don't even deny it.
Oh, goodness.
You know why? Because I love children.
Your children.
I feel like that's if you have to say it,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I
Tom.
just found out what I'm gonna put on the thumbnail. It's why does Jared hate children?
Children not welcome.
I don't hate
If you see me on Southwest. So bad.
No, but it was great. And you're coming back in a couple weeks. I won't have the kids, but we have soccer games we'll go to or whatever. And
I love doing that too. I love going to the soccer games and doing that stuff. We also
It'll be
stepped
fun.
in and I got the equivalent of like 30,000 sit-ups. I went to the electric chair, right?
oh my gosh, my spa lady has this ab machine called M-Sculpt. And it's 30 minutes equivalent to 20,000 sit-ups.
I did 45 minutes.
It's amazing. I mean, it is literally amazing.
Well, let's talk about the shame that you first did when we sat down. So
What did I do?
I sit down and there's different levels, right? And she hooks this thing up to you and I don't know what to expect. This is all scary to me. I don't do this kind of stuff, people. Okay. I'm a man of the people. Okay. I don't even know about this stuff. Okay. And so she puts the thing on me and you're telling me like what percent you think you go to 100%. You think, and when you challenge a man, let me tell you what's going to happen. If I have to rip my leg off, I'm getting to 100%.
100%. Is there 150%?
Exactly. Is this
Yeah.
it? Right. So they start off at 40 and I don't know what to expect. I don't know if this thing's going to shock me, if it's going to whatever. And all of a sudden it grabs you and it goes like, it does this thing where it like electrocutes you.
I mean, your whole body's not shaking.
My foot was kicking out every time.
Actually, very weird.
Okay.
'Cause mine did not.
And
do
so here I am at 40% and she's going, how high are you gonna be able to go? And I'm thinking, are we going to 41? Because good Lord. And I mean, little did I know it was on my rib and like down here. So like every time it's happening, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, is this normal? But I got to try to act normal. And then it would do it for like, and then it would stop for like 5 seconds. But it was just a countdown. It's doing it on my, I'm like, oh my God.
And you can't like talk while it's hard to talk.
And then they're going, let's go 50. let's go 60. How's that feeling? It's hitting my rib. And I don't know that I can move these things. I don't know that that's on the table.
I tell him that I went to 78.
So here I am.
Like, oh, I need to go to 70.
Well, no. So you're like, aren't you? No, that's not what you said. You shamed me.
What did I say?
Because it was at 60 and it was hitting my rib and it's going, and I'm going, you're like, how is it? And I'm like, oh, I mean, how's it supposed to feel? I feel it a little over here.
Here, I have a video. I'll show you.
It was hitting my rib. Hitting my rib. And I'm thinking to myself, my God. And she's going, well, you're going to go to 100, right? I mean, I went to 78. You're going to go higher than 78, right? And I'm going like, are you kidding me? Can we just let this be? Like, can we just?
But you adjusted it. It was
once I realized, I said, because I finally spoke up and I'm like, is it normal that I'm feeling this every time? And you and the other lady just acted like, well, you can move it. It's supposed to. I'm like, oh, of course you can. I don't know. So I moved the thing. And once I moved it, it almost became addicting because it didn't hurt, but it didn't not hurt.
It's weird to explain.
It's just like you got to gear yourself up. Like it's coming.
I feel like it's a sucky feeling.
It's a shock. It's like a constant where you almost addicted to the pain.
You should try it. Everyone should try sculpting.
Oh, so then I moved it up. And like each level, I'm like, let's try another. And once I got to 100 and it was going, now I'm like, I would have gone higher. Because once you get used to it, my leg stopped kicking because it was kicking at first. It's just kicking up. Now I'm like, how many sit-ups we gonna do here? I'm just sitting here watching TikTok. Like this is amazing.
Sending it to his son. Look at Noah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was like, how can I get one of those?
Oh my God. So that
it was great. So we had a good time. We did that.
That was fantastic. I would do that all the time if I could, other than go into the gym, spend an hour and do 100 sit-ups. This thing hit out, knocked out 30,000 and 45.
It was great.
Oh my God.
And then we also did another little treatment. Like he had a little spa day. You've never really been to a spa. Huh?
I'm not really a spa person. I'm not a massage
person. He doesn't like people
person.
touching him.
Yeah, it's like, well, how's that feel? Well, it feels like a stranger touching me with a man bikini on.
Well, there was no man bikini.
Well, they put those little man bikini bottoms they hand you, and they're like, here, get comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
How are you supposed to get comfortable?
No.
How are you supposed to? It's Adam and Eve stuff. They hand you a leaf, and they're like, here. Yeah. Get comfortable. Well, how am I comfortable?
She did not add you. She didn't.
I'm like, what's your name again? Oh, but those shorts, those were flattering, weren't they?
They were huge.
Maybe those shorts were.
That picture.
That's a picture. That's blackmail. That I look like I had. I look like I had a man diaper on. I look like if I wanted to, I could have wet myself and nobody would know.
Oh my God.
I might have tried it out.
Is that you saying that you wet yourself?
Oh, and then they put me in this because I love the sauna, but they put like a Dracula sauna where the thing shuts over you, and you have these little bubble boy hands you can get through these holes.
It's a hydropod. So you lay in this pod, your head is out,
bubble boy,
and it vibrates.
There's 2 holes,
and it helps. It's really good for your body. It
hilarious.
Detox your body,
burn your stomach. So then once again, they challenged me. They turned it up to the highest level.
I did not challenge.
It was in your tonality. So they turned it up to the highest level. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I've been for a while. And I'm like, so am I doing this 15 more minutes? Like my stomach is burning right now. Burning. Oh, yeah. But I'm like, I guess it's normal. Like any man, I'm going to fight through it. I'm going to do what I have to do. Anyways, so then I get out, I'm all red. And then that night, I still have like a burn patch across me.
Okay, for the record, he absolutely loved every single one of the treatments.
Yes,
and that
I did.
When he comes back, we're doing it again. But I have a trainer that I used when I was doing like a really intensive training, like personal training, and she's on it, and she has a show in a couple of weeks, and she has seen amazing results. She does bodybuilding, and this lady watches every ounce of food that goes into her body because she's being critiqued on stage. And this stuff's amazing. So M-Sculpt, we did a cryo T-shock.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which is
I just had to get used to it.
Cryo T-shock just really freezes fat cells and breaks them down, and it comes out of your pores like your sweat.
Fortunately, she said there was no fat cells to get to. Her words.
I have a picture of that also. I could tell you what color it was.
It was
anyways,
clear.
it was great.
Non-existent.
It was a really fun weekend. A lot of stuff.
No, it was great. It was different. Like it took some getting used to, because when you have nothing to compare it to, that's why like I was worried about going up on the percentage, the shot, because I'm like, well, where's this going to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then once you get used to it, it's like addicting. Like I literally would have sat there all day and just let that thing, you know, whatever. Like it was, that'll be a nice little boomerang. It was definitely nice. We're definitely doing it again. And she was fantastic.
Genie. I call her Genie in a bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, because she makes magic happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And her name is Jeannie.
Yeah.
Outside of that, we've had some interesting stuff happen. Well, first off, let me just say really quickly, because we have to do this quick, but you potentially are in the middle of doing a deal with a large Canadian company. And from a real estate perspective, for those of you in the real estate space, there's some big changes coming to Canada that have to do with clear cooperation and that kind of stuff. Really quickly, just say what Listing Alert, your company, like what they do and what this is going to mean for Canada.
Yeah. I run a company called Listing Alert, headquartered in California, Fresno. What we do is we're actually one of the, I want to say only and largest platform, because we have a lot of indirect competitors. We're not direct competitors.
Yeah, not do exactly what you do.
Yeah, that actually comply with clear cooperation rules. So we're able, what we do is we streamline communication for agents within the same brokerage on property coming to market.
Yeah.
And really take that whiteboard concept that's in your broker's office, and we digitalize it in a way that complies with NAR guidelines.
And buyer match.
Yeah. So we don't market to the public, we market internally amongst the agents within the brokerage. And then we also comply with MLS rules. So a lot of MLS rules say, okay, you have 24 hours once you market the property internally or to anyone. And we work with MLS rules as well. And so
you were an MLS exec, so you know the rules, you know, because a lot of times people would be like, well, it's not compliant. It's like, no, it is. We know what we're doing.
Terrified of marketing their property because of how well NAR has really like pushed out clear cooperation, which I am all in favor for.
Right.
But that is specific to the public. When a broker has their license and agents hang their license underneath that broker actually owns that agent's listing. And you know this, listings just represent the broker in that transaction.
Yeah.
Therefore, the broker can market their listing as they choose to internally.
Yeah.
And so we take that whiteboard concept, which every broker either has or has a private Facebook group, or they have a private chat group, or they have an email thread going on with pre-market property. So we take that and then we just digitalize it in Listing Alert, and we just hub it. It's instant communication. We notify. The sweet thing we also do is we do buyer matching. So we take their buyer data and we just match buyer data to pre-market property. We don't let consumers know the match. It just goes from agent to agent. Super sweet, very, very intuitive, easy to use. But the big thing right now that just happened last week, it was Tuesday of last week, CREA in Canada, kind of like their NAR, just passed clear cooperation, which they have. CREA is always kind of like, Canada is always 5 to 7 years behind anything that the US really kind of implements, like in policies and rules.
Right.
And it just got voted on last week. So there's some blood in the water. Some agents are very upset about.
People are always resistant to change
about this, but also I think it's very exciting too.
But you guys, it is, but you guys offer such an advantage. It's why you guys are growing so quickly with brands and brokers and everything else, of where there's an actual advantage now to the broker, and there's an actual advantage to the agent being a part of the brokerage.
Oh, absolutely.
Meaning it's quantifiable data and information, and that's easily trackable, of why a buyer should work with an agent within that brokerage because of the advantages they have from it. And why a broker should have that tool from the perspective that you know, I know you guys don't sell based on this, but you are able to then sell and double side more deals and do it in a compliant manner. And
obviously organically that happens.
Of course,
our goal is to foster the communication of what's going on within the office, but there is, like you said, a side to this potentially could create an in-house deal, right? Yeah.
And it's such an advantage to the buyers that work with those agents, because they're finding out about properties before the general market as a just as a byproduct of working with that specific place that has it.
Yeah.
So it's easily, and then from a seller perspective too, you're getting more exposure, more direct exposure, meaning very specific to the buyers and the agents within that brokerage in a way that is it's on purpose, meaning it's not just hoping, it's not just a Tuesday morning meeting hey, everybody, here's what I got, whatever. It's leveraging what we have that's important, which is this thing right here.
Yeah.
And you see that the ROI with the people who work with you is just insane.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And brokers know that. First, it's a wonderful tool to retain talent, people that you have, to stay competitive. And it's a great tool to attract agents to your brokerage. So very, very excited. We just launched our V3 version, which is very clean, a really nice UX UI presentation on the app now. And the user experience is just amazing, going through it.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is we're just in the beginning of our roadmap.
Yeah.
There's so much more to do that we have not even tapped into. And so we're also in a season of just raising capital so we can make sure that we follow that growth.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's an exciting time. It's this opens you guys up to being so much more necessary in places like Canada. Yeah. Which is really cool. You were really waiting on that vote, to see which way that was going to go. So that actually went away. We want to go, which is a good thing. Let's get back to some personal, some questions we might want to ask the audience. Okay.
Who's the audience? This one?
Maybe there's a few people who watch and listen to this.
Oh, we're going to ask just the audience? Or they've asked us?
I would like to ask them some questions.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the first question is,
there's no answer.
You have already brought up.
But you're asking me.
I'd like to know these from the audience. I would like them to, if they're watching this on YouTube, comment below. Okay.
Comment below.
Okay. Woman's hair, short or long?
Oh my goodness.
I'd like to know where people fall. And I don't want to hear whatever she wants. Of course, it's whatever she wants. That goes without saying. I'm saying, what is your preference? And then my next question, who drives?
Okay. These questions are not only geared for men. Okay. Women respond also. Okay. Please.
I didn't say that. I just said who drives.
Please, because
that's both. What do you mean?
Okay. Do we talk about what we?
Well, the hair is very specific because that came up with us. So I'm saying when it comes to a woman's hair, whether you're a woman or you're a man, okay, as a man, what do you prefer? And what a woman, what do you prefer? But then driving, I want to know in your relationship, who drives? Who drives the car?
Are you pointing at Tom?
And I'm looking at the camera. No, the camera.
Camera.
Yeah, there's cameras here, baby. This is being recorded. Okay. So who drives? Man or the woman? Who drives you guys?
It depends.
Oh. Wow.
For long distance, Delaney drives.
Okay. And then what's the reason behind that?
I'm a very anxious driver.
Oh, wow.
So I don't do well in areas I don't know.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
That's you.
That is not me at all. I'm just fine. No, it's different. It's an adjustment, but I'm not anxious.
I mean,
I'm not anxious at all. I'm just learning the terrain.
Well,
I drive slower.
It's because he puts everything in Waze. Everything.
Waze. All right.
Everything.
What was that judgment? What do you mean?
Oh,
it's called redirecting around traffic. It's called finding the fastest route.
Who does that?
For someone who runs a tech platform, I think you should appreciate that.
I'm not a fan of Waze.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean,
there are a lot of different ways to get to where you're going.
The only thing I liked about Waze was the voices. I always thought those were fun.
British
they had
accents.
they had Sam Jackson on there for a second. That was fun.
Yeah.
They had the British singer, which was weird. I don't know.
So you're there for the entertainment.
Yeah, but
you don't actually use.
No, I don't really. No,
No, was in Fresno, where I'm from. That's
way different than here.
Part. I know the streets in Fresno. Let me drive. He's like, no, I need to get familiar with the streets. Let me drive. I'm like, oh, so it's just
I can't be driven.
So he'll say, want me to plug it in?
I get sick.
And I'm like, well, why are we plugging in everything? I know how to get to the kids' school. I want to plug it in. I'm like, no, why are we plugging it in to get to church? I know how to get to church. But no. And it's like, okay, left. If I'm looking down for a minute and I forgot to tell him, oh, turn left. Then we're past 3 blocks and now we have to make a U-turn. So there's a little bit of stress and anxiousness.
Well, I do constantly.
That I get.
I do constantly. Where am I going? Which way?
It's not like we're both not familiar with the city. No, I am. Let me drive. No,
I can't be driven. I can't be driven. I can't be driven.
He says he gets this motion, the car sickness.
I do. Even I say like someone making it up. Did you just roll
Tom,
your eyes?
He was at my office.
Did you just?
He was at my office. We went to lunch. Not this past time before.
You think that was a fraud?
And this guy's going back and forth at your house, just staring at it.
Yeah.
But anyways, we went less than a mile, maybe half a mile to lunch. And he gets out of the car. He's like, I'm so sick.
I can't control when it hits.
That's
like,
fair, I guess.
It took me half a day to get over it.
I like being driven though.
For a guy that travels so much and is always in Ubers.
Yeah.
Wait. What do I do though when I go to the airport and back? Do I allow a car to come pick me up?
No, but you live in an airplane and Ubers.
Yes.
Like you should be adaptable.
But let's be clear though. So when I go to the airport, even though I could get cars back and forth, I don't because I need to drive myself. And then even when I go places, that I avoid being driven like the freaking plague, meaning I want to go somewhere walkable. I want to go I do not want to get into an Uber, into a taxi. That's true.
So yesterday I do.
Yeah.
Yesterday, his poor son Grayson is trying to learn. He has his driving test coming up soon.
He's not poor.
He's not poor. He's like, he tells me this. He tells me. I got car sick yesterday with Grayson driving. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like,
you don't know when it's gonna happen, but it just did.
Should wear one of those little motion. What is it? Those little patches behind your ears.
It's like the Holy Spirit. It just comes upon you. Okay.
You should. Anyways, he should get one of those patches.
Yes. Or I could just drive instead of putting a patch on.
The question for everyone is it okay if a lady drives a man?
Not is it okay? I'm saying don't position me.
That's
with it. Is it okay?
Right, so
that's not what I said.
Okay.
I said who drives in your relationship. I didn't say is it okay. I said who drives because I see friends where the woman always drives, and I see friends where the guy always drives. It tends to be consistent though, unlike you. It tends to be one way or the other. Okay. There tends to be a driver in the relationship.
Okay, so if I said, "Hey, babe, could I drive us to dinner tonight?"
Why would you do that?
Yes, the answer is no.
No. I don't understand why we do that. Okay. We're not turning on the clock. You didn't become a part-time Uber driver. No.
Lady driving.
It's not about if I drive with someone else, I need to drive. It's sickness. I literally get sick.
The pause was perfect.
He is crushing me today. So far, I want to just recap for the listeners right now. He doesn't like kids, right? And he doesn't like ladies driving.
Yes.
These are not my views. I just want to be very clear. These are not my views.
Jared's next video is going to be 7 ways to be a terrible person.
I know, right? Jeez, good Lord. These are not my viewpoints. Okay. But I can't there's sometimes when it's unavoidable, but no, I get sick. I don't like being driven.
Yeah.
And I do like to, from a control perspective, I do like to, have my hand on the wheel. I don't like being in a position where I'm someone else could just screw up or, do whatever. That's not my jam.
Have you thought about getting your pilot's license?
Oh, I have thought about that. I actually have. And you know what's funny though? There's almost good when I'm on a flight that they close the cockpit because I'm able to fool myself into believing
that you're flying.
Someone's not even in control of this. Just sitting down, waiting to get to the next place.
I don't think he could do that because autopilot would not be something for him. He wants to actually control.
Fair.
And I think being a pilot, you're on autopilot half the time, majority of the time. You're not really flying the plane.
I have to think that one through, but maybe.
Yeah. He wants to be like this.
First of all, I wouldn't make that face. Okay. That's not how you have a successful landing. First off with that face. Okay. Jeez.
Seriously, I have to go autopilot, baby.
Look out, everyone. Yeah, this is gonna be an adventure. No, that would not be. Okay, and then the next question is more of is this weird? We had an Instacart situation.
Oh my gosh. Did you hear about this?
So she orders some stuff.
I want to tell you purposely.
So she gets in late at night.
I ordered some stuff and it was expected to be here at 11:30 and which is past my bedtime. She did not come at 11:30. And I asked Jared, hey,
you just said leave it at the doorstep. We'll get it in the morning. So you messaged her and you just said, hey, please don't ring the doorbell. Just leave it at the doorstep. We'll get it in the morning. So I get up this morning, take the dog out, getting ready to take the kids to school. Nothing out here. So I go look around the corner. I'm like, this is weird. It said it'd be delivered by 11:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so I get here and I tell Jared, what do I do? And he says, well, message her. Well, first of all, she didn't respond to our message. The message I
sent.
The
ones last night she didn't respond to.
And then so Jared
did say your shopper is shopping at 11:08. And it said it'll be here by 11:30.
And then I'm gonna could I read it? Is it
don't read her name. Well, we can just I know what it said. So she basically reaches out and she's like, hey, is this getting delivered this morning? Like, what's going on here? And she finally responds and says, I was in a domestic situation. I'm in the hospital, correct?
Yes.
And then what'd she say? I'm in the hospital and sorry. I apologize. Not about whether it's so we are like,
I was very torn because I ordered some milk duds.
That's actually really important though.
Really? Hey, that's all great. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna get some milk duds today.
Got this.
So to be clear, you weren't sure if you believed it because it's like, who says that?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just say, oops, whatever, or whatever? But like, why are you telling us?
Okay, first of all, she responded so quickly.
Yeah.
It threw us off. Like, it was less than a minute. She responded.
We weren't sure if we believed it or not because we're like, what do you mean? What kind of excuse is that? And if it were true, why would you tell us that? We're strangers.
Yes, that's
and you're also performing a service. Why don't you just be like, hey, sorry, something came up. I'm not going to be able to. Why go to the, in my experience, when someone goes to an extreme, it's a lie, right? Too many details, too many whatever. So I was in a domestic, I'm in the hospital, which if it's true, holy crap, right? But now the question is, because she's already paid, the groceries have been bought. Like, because it shows that they were, whatever. So she's like, what do I say?
Like,
hey,
how do you respond to that?
Sorry to hear.
Yeah, like, what could I do? Like, I didn't know.
So what are you thinking before noon? Like, what do you say? Like, how do you respond to that?
Yeah,
it's like from a salesperson perspective. If you're sitting at a thing and you're like trying to get someone to close and whatever, and they go, and you need them to close today. Let's say it's end of the month sale, last day of the month. And they go, you know what? We don't ever make a decision without praying about it and sleeping on it overnight. What do you say?
And, I mean,
what do you say?
Yeah.
Like what's the, whatever, like, there's no great, I can
yeah.
respect that, but I bet God wants you to get a good deal.
It was just, it put us in very much,
what do you say?
Put me in an awkward position. And so,
milk duds. So anyway, she replies and basically says, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Should I just cancel the order? Like,
that sounds insensitive, right? Like I feel like it sounds insensitive.
There was stuff in there you needed though.
Oh yeah. There was some medication that I needed. So, but it sounded insensitive, but then like,
products have been purchased.
What do I do? And so I didn't want to come off like a,
So then she didn't respond. And then you wrote again, you're like, hey, I really hope everything's okay, but
it kind of threw me off on not thinking it was real. Cause the first time she immediately responded.
Yeah.
And it was almost like maybe she forgot, like, oh shoot, like I'm going to say something.
She did respond very quickly the first time with that.
Then she didn't respond. And then so I reached out to Instacart, which
no, before you did that though, you replied back after she didn't respond the second time when you were like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm whatever. Like, what should I do here? Like, should I just cancel this? Should I whatever? And there was nothing. We waited like an hour.
Yeah.
And then you wrote back again and you were like, hey, I really hope everything's okay with you, but like, I don't want to cancel this and get you in trouble because is that going
to affect ratings?
Because the products were already purchased, they're already whatever. I don't want to get you in trouble. What do you recommend I do? Right? Like that was the second.
And then she immediately responded with that one and said, just cancel. And I'll send photos of like your order.
Yeah.
And the conversation. I said, okay. But like, yeah.
I
don't even know what to make of it. It was super interesting, super awkward.
I can't believe the response was
there was medication in there, but there was also milk duds.
But there's milk duds in there.
A minute.
Like,
anyway.
I think it's my first time crying on the podcast.
It was super interesting. Huh?
Yeah, that was interesting. That was. And I guess when we said what was the question is, do we, because if it's true, I mean, I lived through that in my own life. That's a real.
Do you report it?
Well, no, I mean,
I lived
she's
through
out
that.
of hospital. Yeah, you've been through that.
So
everybody knows we have full, like, that's not a funny thing at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if we believed it. Like, do we think that's actually?
But what's the question? So the question would be like, how
is it appropriate for someone in that position to respond with that, whatever? Isn't that a little too, shouldn't you have a different excuse?
I mean, my car broke down.
So, no, just
I would have believed that. I
hey,
would
so
believe
sorry,
that.
something came up. Hey, so sorry, had an emergency. To specifically
Yeah.
mention it was
And I'm
it
in the
it was
hospital?
uncomfortable. And I'm in
Yeah.
that. It was like, we don't know each other. This is weird.
Super
I don't
weird.
even know how to respond right now. Like this is
I actually like, I know because we responded, and then I felt bad that we were not as insensitive because I still like, what do I do? This is $50 worth of stuff.
yeah. So anyway, it's been an interesting go since she got here. Yeah, very
It hasn't even
interesting.
been 24 hours yet.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting. I've never had that one. You hear all the stuff, dog, get your homework, all that stuff. I have never. That was on one hand, even if it's not true, I give her credit because that is one where you are very sensitive to it. You will not give a bad rating if she just ended up screwing us. But it is interesting because when she said she was in a, domestic, whatever, it shows that she was shopping right before being here. Should have just been on her way here.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just don't know.
Anyways, moral of the story, you should use Instacart. But I have not gone into
You
a
were the one
grocery
that
store.
introduced me to Instacart.
I have not. I don't step into how you like for the first 2 years of life when Noah didn't go anywhere. It's like literally with my children right now, it's like
oh, you
Instacart.
introduced me to this. Like I don't go to grocery
Yeah.
stores and stuff. I Instacart everything. Like it's like everything.
You don't have to go in the rain, into the snow, nothing. Deal with like Christmas shopping, holiday shopping, nothing. You order it and they drop it off.
Beautiful
Done.
thing. And if they bring you, like the other day, I got blueberries that weren't great. All I do is go on the app and I go, no good, rotten. They're
And
like,
they automatically
money
refund.
given back.
They don't
We're
even
good.
question you. They
No
refund
question.
you.
Money back. Yeah. You gotta love that. They don't even question. It's like it's the Wayfair of shopping.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever bought anything on Wayfair, but no matter what you say, they don't take things back. So you could literally, you could have a $2,000 bed and then just once you get it, put it together and be like, hey, not so good. Chips all over. I want a new one. And they will 100% of the time be like, we'll just give you your money. Don't send it back. It's crazy.
They refund you. But the problem is this, you're stuck with the item you don't want.
If it's, yeah.
And they're huge items.
I think I was speaking from an illegitimate place. So I was trying to tell you. But yes.
No, I'm just saying like, I don't want it because it's scuffed, it's messed up, and there's a scratch on it. Oh no, don't worry.
Don't send it back.
And we'll send you another.
You're like, no, I have a dresser now. I don't want this dresser here.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
That's Wayfair for you.
Interesting.
So there you go. Instacart, use it. Wayfair, like go for it.
We got to close it down here. We got to close it down.
It's
Things have gotten off the rails.
I know.
Milk duds.
Sorry.
You know what? I'm gonna go right from here to the store and get some milk duds now. I'm craving them actually.
But there's milk
Really
duds.
You know what? I bought two because I don't share. So I bought one for you. Oh,
no, that's
sweet.
That's sweet or not.
No, you can't share. You can't share.
You wouldn't share milk duds?
No.
I think we told you that like months ago. We went to a movie and I specifically said I don't share my milk duds. So I bought you a box too.
Do your milk duds bring all the boys to the yard?
I guess not because they're not
here.
here.
The song I'm referencing?
I do know it, and we need to close it up. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone.
On that note,
welcome to that episode. That's a fun one. Should we do the whole if they want to stay in touch with you?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You're gonna ask me what my handle is.
Yes, I don't know. Just go to my handle and you'll see her.
Linda Yacoub, LINDAYACOUB _.
There you go. Is that on both? Or is that just Instagram?
Instagram. I don't know my Facebook one.
Oh, even this Facebook thing.
But I'm super excited to read these comments though.
Oh.
And see what people say.
We might get as much hate so I put up a TikTok yesterday that went fairly viral, right? It's just over 150,000 views right now, right? My favorite thing about when you put a video on TikTok and it goes viral is the hateful comments. It's hilarious to me. I actually like it.
I mean, they can't hate it as much because they took time to respond to it.
It's just funny though.
Because if I hated it, I'd be like, man, I'd go through it.
Please, you get angry. Like you saw them and you're like, you sent me a thing yesterday. You're like angry face. You don't like when you see people write mean things.
Looking them up and seeing who they are, where they're from.
This is what happens. Like
you guys
write hateful things on my account, just so you know. All right. She's looking you up. Okay.
My tech people pull you.
Yeah, that's exactly
or your IP addresses.
That is
you said these hateful things. Well, your mustache is stupid in your profile picture.
Yeah, right.
We have 4 followers.
Nobody. Oh my God. Anyway, so So anyway, the point is, when you talk about comments, that's like my favorite part of having a viral video is just watching the people who come in who don't follow you, don't anything. And they're just like, but what he's saying is stupid. You know, if you really listen, he's not saying anything.
They have no idea.
And then always people jumping in. Realtors are like travel, whatever. They'll be gone in no time. I bought several homes on my own, signed myself, didn't waste the money on that scam. And I'm just like, oh God, really winning at life here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Somehow you found enough time to post on somebody's video you don't know. So
I
anyway.
know.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. This was kind of a fun episode. We try to give you just a little bit of
It'll
behind
get
the
serious
scenes.
next time.
I was gonna say, guys, understand we're having fun.
Boring.
We're joking around and having a good time. So this will be out soon. We love you guys. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. You know, I hope you enjoy these kind of fun episodes. We'll have some more stuff coming up as well.
Yeah.
In the very near future. Love you guys. See you soon. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tom.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.